Stop scrolling. This moment is meant for you. You might not realize it yet, but the very fact that you are here reading these words means that God has something powerful to share with you right now. You may have spent time questioning your progress, wondering why things haven't worked out the way you expected. Perhaps you've asked yourself why it feels like everyone else is moving ahead while you seem to be stuck, waiting for something to change. But hear this, you were not delayed. God was preparing you for this moment. The journey you've been on, every struggle, every setback, every feeling of being held back has been part of a divine plan, a plan far greater than you can see with your natural eyes. What you thought was a delay was actually God's perfect timing, molding you, shaping you, and refining your soul for what's about to unfold in your life. Imagine for a moment the way a potter carefully shapes a piece of clay. The potter's hands mold it, turn it, and refine it, not because the clay is bad, but because the potter knows the masterpiece that lies within. God is your divine potter. He has been shaping you, building your faith, and strengthening your character, even when it felt like nothing was happening. God is preparing you for a greater purpose. Every delay, every moment of uncertainty has been a step towards your transformation. You have been equipped with everything you need for this very moment, even if it didn't feel like it at the time. Think about the seeds in nature. They don't grow overnight. They go through a process of being planted, watered, and nurtured. You too have been going through a process, and now it's time for you to bloom. The roots have been growing deep, and now the time has come for you to rise, stronger, wiser, and more equipped than ever before. You might feel like you've been stuck in a waiting period, but what if I told you this? The waiting was never wasted. God knew that in this season of preparation, you were becoming who you needed to be. The trials you faced were not meant to break you, but to build in you a resilience and faith that will carry you through the doors of your destiny. Right now, the shift is happening. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. The doors that were once closed are now opening before you, because God has been laying the foundation for something incredible to manifest in your life. Now is the moment for you to step forward in faith, knowing that everything you have been through has been to prepare you for the greatness that is coming. Your breakthrough is not delayed. It is right on time, because God's timing is always perfect. So, stop scrolling and embrace the message that is before you. You were never delayed. You were simply being prepared. You are ready for this moment, and the best is yet to come. Trust that God has been at work in your life, and what you are about to experience will exceed your greatest expectations. Your moment is here, and it's time to step into your destiny. You're here for a reason, and this message is for you. If you've ever felt like time was passing you by, or that your efforts haven't been rewarded, today is the day you're going to see things differently. There is a divine message unfolding in your life right now, and it's one you've been waiting for, even if you didn't realize it. You've been questioning your purpose, your journey, or perhaps even the timing of everything in your life. But I want you to hear this clearly. You are not delayed. God has been preparing you for this moment. I know you've probably felt frustration. Maybe you've asked yourself why certain doors haven't opened yet, or why things seem to be moving slower than expected. Maybe you've compared your progress to others and wondered what you're doing wrong. But I want to tell you this. There is nothing wrong with you. You are exactly where you need to be. The delays, the waiting, the moments of uncertainty, they were all part of a process designed for you to grow. The wait wasn't wasted, it was preparation. There is a purpose in the waiting, even when it seems like nothing is happening. Picture a seed in the ground. It doesn't just sprout and grow instantly. There is a process it must go through, underground, where no one can see it. It's being nourished. It's growing roots, becoming stronger, even though it seems like nothing is taking place. This is exactly how your life has been. You've been in a season of preparation, and the time spent waiting was necessary for the roots of your faith to deepen, your character to strengthen, and your vision to become clearer. The process has been shaping you for the incredible things that are about to unfold in your life. God's timing is not like ours. We are conditioned to measure time by the clock, by how quickly things happen, but God's timing is beyond our understanding. When you feel like nothing is happening, know that it's often the most critical time of growth. God knows exactly what you need and when you need it. Every step, every season, every trial has been leading you to this moment of manifestation. What you've been waiting for is on its way, but before it can manifest, you must be ready to receive it. The delays weren't a setback, they were a setup. God was ensuring you were prepared for the blessings that are about to pour into your life. Think about the process of building a house. Before the house is built, there is groundwork that must be done. The foundation must be laid. The plumbing must be installed. The electrical wiring needs to be carefully placed. And this process takes time. But when the house is built and complete, it stands strong, ready to support a family, full of purpose and stability. This is how God works in your life. He is laying the foundation in you so that you can handle the blessings, the challenges, and the greatness that is coming your way. Just like the house needs a solid foundation, you need to be rooted in faith, strength, and clarity before your dreams can be realized. It might not always feel like it, but every step you've taken, every tear you've shed, every moment of doubt has been building you. You are being shaped and molded into the person who can carry the weight of your dreams. You are being prepared to not only receive your blessings, but also to handle them with wisdom, grace, and responsibility. The delays have been God's way of ensuring that you are fully equipped to step into the next chapter of your life. Without these moments of preparation, you might not have been ready to step into the magnitude of the blessing that is coming your way. Now, think about the moment a butterfly emerges from its cocoon. It doesn't break free immediately. It spends time in a confined space, struggling, stretching its wings, gaining strength. That struggle is necessary. If the butterfly were to be released too soon, it would not have the strength to fly. Similarly, there have been moments in your life where it felt like you were confined, like your potential was trapped. But that confinement wasn't to hurt you, it was to prepare you to soar. The struggle you faced has strengthened your wings. You are about to emerge, not just as someone who's endured, but as someone who is ready to fly higher than ever before. You may have questioned whether you're worthy of what's coming, or whether you're really ready, and the answer is yes. God has already equipped you with everything you need for this next season. The waiting was a time for you to grow in faith, to strengthen your spirit, and to prepare your heart for what's to come. Every time you felt like giving up, you didn't. Every time you pushed through the uncertainty, you were building your resilience. You have been through too much to be unprepared. This is your time. You are no longer in the place of waiting. You are in the place of becoming. The shift is happening now, and all the things that you've been praying for are about to unfold in your life. The promises that seemed distant, the dreams that seemed impossible, the blessings that felt far out of reach are about to manifest before your eyes. You are ready. You have been prepared, you have grown, and now it's time for the manifestation of everything that God has promised. The road wasn't always easy, but you've been strengthened by the challenges, shaped by the obstacles, and refined by the trials. Each moment of difficulty has been a building block for your destiny. You may not have seen it at the time, but everything you've gone through has been a preparation for the greatness that lies ahead. The time spent waiting wasn't just waiting. It was a season of refinement. When you look at your life, stop seeing delays. See preparation. See divine alignment. See the hand of God working in ways you couldn't understand at the time. Every struggle, every difficulty, every moment of doubt was part of a bigger picture. Now, as you stand on the threshold of your breakthrough, you can look back and realize that every delay, every season, every single moment of your journey was necessary to bring you to this very moment. The waiting has been worth it. Your preparation has led you here to the place where you can finally step into the fullness of what God has for you. All that has been hidden, all that you've been waiting for, is now ready to be revealed. The time has come for you to step into your destiny, knowing that every step you've taken has been guided by a divine hand leading you to this moment of manifestation. So stop scrolling and embrace this message. You are not delayed, you are being prepared. God has been working behind the scenes, preparing you for this very moment, and now that you are ready, everything is about to fall into place. Trust in the process. Trust that God's timing is perfect, and know that the best is yet to come. This is your time. Your season of preparation is over, and your season of manifestation is here. You might not fully understand it now, but every moment you've spent in uncertainty, every challenge you've faced, every tear that's been shed in the silence of your heart, these were not wasted. They were the stepping stones, the foundations of a journey that has brought you to a place where you are ready to embrace the fullness of what is about to come. God never leads you through something without equipping you for the journey ahead. You are equipped, you are ready, and you are more than capable of stepping into the destiny that has been planned for you. I know it might feel like things have been slow, that your efforts haven't yielded the results you hoped for, but understand this: God is always at work, even when you can't see it. There is no delay in your life, only divine preparation. The moments that you felt like nothing was moving forward were simply moments of building. Imagine a tree that grows deep roots before it rises above the ground. What you've been going through has been the root work, and now the time has come for you to rise. You've been nurtured, you've been pruned, and you've been prepared for a great harvest. We are conditioned to think of delays as something negative. When we don't see instant results, we tend to think something is wrong. But the truth is that God works in cycles, not on human clocks. He doesn't rush through his plan. He takes his time because he knows the end result will be far greater than what we can imagine. In every moment of waiting, in every moment of doubt, there is purpose. Every waiting season is a time to build your faith, deepen your understanding, and refine your vision. The preparation wasn't about you being insufficient. It was about God ensuring that when your moment arrived, you would be prepared to step into it fully and without hesitation. Think about the butterfly emerging from the cocoon. This is a process that cannot be rushed. The butterfly must struggle to break free, building the strength it needs to fly. If someone were to interfere with this process, the butterfly would not have the strength to take flight. Similarly, the struggles you've faced, the hardships, the trials, these have been the struggles that have been strengthening your wings. Without them, you wouldn't have the strength or the character to soar to the heights God has prepared for you. The very things you thought were setbacks were actually the forces that were pushing you toward greatness. Have you ever noticed how things often seem to happen in clusters? Sometimes you feel like everything is on hold, nothing is progressing, and then, suddenly, it all falls into place. That is the culmination of preparation. The moment everything aligns is not just a coincidence. It is the result of everything that's been happening behind the scenes. God has been aligning things in your life, even when you couldn't see it. The delays were simply the space where everything needed to fall into place. Right now, you are stepping into a season where everything you've worked for is about to come to fruition. You've put in the work, you've fought the battles, and you've been faithful during the moments of uncertainty. Now it is time for you to receive the rewards. The manifestation of your desires is not something that will take forever. It is already in motion. Your breakthrough is not something that is distant or far away. It is on the horizon, ready to manifest in your life. But here's the thing, you must believe it. You must trust that everything you've been through was a preparation for this moment. The challenges you faced were not to break you, they were to build you. The doubts you wrestled with were not to make you question yourself, they were to deepen your faith. God has been building you up, even when you couldn't see it, and now you are standing at the threshold of the fulfillment of all that you have prayed for. You've already come so far, and yet there is still so much more waiting for you. Think about the story of Joseph in the Bible. Joseph was betrayed, sold into slavery, and cast into prison, yet each step of his journey was divinely orchestrated to prepare him for the moment when he would rise to power and save his family. In the moment, it must have felt like everything was falling apart, but what Joseph didn't know was that every step, every setback was positioning him for something greater. Your journey is no different. The moments that felt like setbacks were actually the moments that were positioning you for the blessings you are about to receive. God knows the desires of your heart, and He is aligning everything to ensure that those desires are fulfilled at the perfect time. But you must trust that His timing is not only perfect, it's exactly what you need. You may have questioned why things have taken so long, but I assure you that the waiting period has been necessary for your growth. God doesn't just give us the desires of our hearts, He prepares us to handle them. If you were given everything you wanted before you were ready, it could overwhelm you, or you might not be able to appreciate it fully. The preparation ensures that when your blessings come, you can steward them wisely and with gratitude. If you've been wondering why things haven't unfolded the way you expected, now you know. God was preparing you for this moment. He was getting you ready for the great things that are about to come into your life. You might not see it yet, but everything is lining up, and soon you'll look back at this season and realize that it was all worth it. The waiting wasn't wasted, it was purposeful. Think about the story of David in the Bible. Before he became king, he was a shepherd boy, overlooked and underestimated by everyone around him. But that time in the fields, the hours spent in solitude, the challenges he faced in the wilderness, they were all preparing him for his destiny. David's preparation wasn't immediate, it took time. And when the moment came for him to step into his calling, he was ready. You are no different. Your journey, no matter how long it may have felt, is leading you to your moment of destiny. The truth is, your life is not just about the destination, it's about the preparation. It's about who you become along the way. The delays you've experienced, the waiting you've endured, they have shaped you into the person you are today, a person who is ready for what's coming. So stop looking at your life and seeing delays. Instead, look at it as the preparation ground, the place where God was working, refining, and positioning you for the greatness that is about to unfold. You are ready, you have been prepared. And now you can step into the manifestation of all that God has planned for you. Your time has come. It's not a time to look back and wonder why things happened the way they did. It's time to look forward, knowing that everything that has transpired in your life has been leading you to this moment. The doors that once seemed closed are now opening. The opportunities that once felt distant are now coming into focus. The blessings you prayed for are coming to you, because God has been working behind the scenes, preparing you for this very time. So I want you to stop scrolling and truly believe this message. You were not delayed, you were being prepared. Everything you've gone through, every moment you questioned, every setback you faced, they have been part of the divine preparation for this moment. Your breakthrough is not far off, it's already in motion. Trust in the process. Trust in the timing. Your moment has arrived. You may not see it yet, but the life you've always dreamed of is closer than you think. It's not in the distant future, it's right here, just waiting for you to claim it. The waiting you've endured, the trials you've faced, the moments of uncertainty, they have all been carefully designed to bring you to this very point in time. You have been through so much, and yet you are still standing. You've made it through every challenge, every disappointment, and every setback. That alone proves how strong you are, how resilient you've become. God has not abandoned you, and He has certainly not forgotten you. There are moments in life where everything seems to slow down, where time feels like it's standing still, and we wonder why we're not seeing the results we expected. We compare ourselves to others and wonder why they seem to have everything together while we're still waiting for our breakthrough. But let me tell you something, the waiting is not a sign of delay, it is a sign of preparation. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. When you feel as though nothing is happening, remember that behind the scenes, the universe is aligning things for you in ways you cannot yet comprehend. Every prayer you've prayed, every tear you've cried, every moment you've spent wondering when things will change, those moments have not been in vain. God has been at work, positioning you for greatness. There is no such thing as a delay in God's plan. Every pause, every moment of stillness has been a part of the divine orchestration. When things don't seem to be moving forward, it's easy to lose faith. It's easy to doubt, to wonder if you're on the right path. But trust me when I tell you this, those moments of waiting are not punishment. They are preparation. God is working behind the scenes, weaving everything together, placing the right people, opportunities, and resources exactly where they need to be. All of this is coming together for your good. It's coming together for the moment that is about to manifest in your life. Take a moment to think about the times when things felt the hardest. The times when you felt like you were doing everything right, but still nothing seemed to fall into place. Those moments were not the end, they were the beginning. They were the moments that built your character, strengthened your resolve, and deepened your faith. You have been refined by fire, you have been tested, and you have been found worthy. The trials were not to break you, but to mold you into the person who is now ready to walk into the promises God has for you. Think about the butterfly again. Before it emerges from the cocoon, it goes through a process of transformation. It takes time, it is slow, but without that time, without that struggle, it would never be able to take flight. You too are in the process of transformation. It might feel like you've been stuck in a cocoon for a long time, but I promise you, this is the very stage where God is preparing you to soar. You've been waiting for your moment, and now it is here. It's not a moment in the distant future, it's happening now. The shift is already taking place. You are about to see everything you've prayed for come to fruition. The doors that were once closed are now wide open, and the path ahead is clear. All that is required from you is faith. Faith that everything you've gone through has led you to this moment. Faith that your breakthrough is already in motion. Faith that God is working everything out for your good, even when you can't see it. One thing I want you to remember is that the timing of God is always perfect. We as humans are often too quick to rush through things. We want instant results. We want everything to happen now. But God doesn't operate on our time. He operates on divine timing. And His timing is always perfect. There is no delay in God's plan. What seems like a delay to you is simply preparation. Everything that you are going through right now is a stepping stone to the life that you are about to live. The delays were never a setback, they were a setup for something greater. If we take a moment to look back at the lives of those in the Bible who experienced seemingly endless delays, we can see the divine truth in their journeys. Abraham waited years for the promise of a son. Joseph was sold into slavery and thrown into prison before rising to power. David was anointed king but had to wait for years before stepping into his destiny. These people didn't have it easy, but their delays were never defeats. They were necessary for their transformation, and they were necessary for them to fully embrace the blessings that were meant for them. They understood that what seemed like a delay was actually divine timing at work. You are no different. Your delays are not defeats. They are part of God's perfect plan for your life. Everything you've gone through has been for a purpose, and now that purpose is about to reveal itself in ways you never imagined. The doors that have been closed for so long are now opening. The people who doubted you will soon see your rise. The opportunities you thought were lost are now returning to you. The time has come for you to step into the life that has been waiting for you. But in order to fully embrace what is coming, you must first let go of the idea that you've been delayed. You must let go of the idea that you've been left behind. The truth is, you have been prepared. And now the harvest is coming. You have sown the seeds, you have watered them, and now the time has come for the fruit to manifest. The waiting is over. The time for you to step into your destiny has arrived. I know that it can be hard to believe when you're still in the waiting season. It can be difficult to see the bigger picture when you're in the midst of the struggle. But I assure you, every moment you've spent in the waiting room has been a part of God's perfect plan. You were not delayed, you were being prepared. And now that preparation is coming to fruition. The breakthrough you've been waiting for is closer than you think. In this moment, I want you to stop scrolling. Stop looking at what everyone else is doing. Stop comparing yourself to others. God has a message for you. He has been preparing you for something great. The life you've been dreaming of is not some far-off fantasy. It is already in motion. Everything you need is already being placed into your life. Your breakthrough is here. You just have to believe it. The waiting is over. The time to step into your destiny is now. God has been working behind the scenes, orchestrating everything to perfection, and now you are ready to receive the fruits of your labor. You are ready to step into the life that has been prepared for you. You are ready to soar. So, stop scrolling. Take a moment to reflect on how far you've come. Take a moment to thank God for every trial, every struggle, every delay, because those moments were never meant to break you, they were meant to prepare you. And now it's time for you to step into the life that is waiting for you. Your breakthrough is here. The waiting is over. The time has come for you to rise. Step into it. Step into everything God has prepared for you. It's time to receive it. It's time to claim it, and it's time to believe that your moment has arrived. The life you have longed for is already within your grasp. Everything you need has been placed before you, and everything you have experienced, every twist and turn, has led you here to this very moment. It's easy to feel like we are in a holding pattern, waiting for things to change, waiting for the breakthrough we have prayed for. But what if the very fact that you are still here, still moving forward despite everything, is proof that you have already been prepared for what is ahead? When you scroll through your feed and see others achieving, moving forward, living the life you wish you had, it's natural to feel as though you've been left behind. But I want you to understand something crucial today. What you perceive as delay is nothing but divine preparation. The fact that you have not yet received what you thought you should have by now is not a reflection of failure. It is a reflection of your readiness. God has been working in the background, molding and shaping you, preparing you for the blessing that is about to unfold in your life. The process is rarely visible to us while we're in the midst of it, and that can be discouraging. The things you think you need right now, today, might not be the things that will serve you most in the future. You might be desiring a door to open, but what you may not realize is that while you're waiting, God is opening your eyes to the lessons you need to learn before walking through that door. He is aligning everything, bringing the right people into your life, developing your character, and strengthening your resilience. You might be looking at your current situation and wondering, why hasn't it happened for me yet? And the answer is simple. You were never delayed. God was preparing you for this moment. He is not in a hurry. His timing is always perfect. What seems like a pause, what feels like a wait, is actually the moment where God is refining you, shaping you into the person you are meant to be in order to receive what He has for you. Think of an artist working on a masterpiece. The artist does not rush through the process. Every stroke, every detail is intentional, even if the observer does not see it immediately. Similarly, every step of your journey, even the waiting, has been intentional. You are being refined, you are being prepared for something far greater than what you can see in this moment. Your preparation period is not a punishment, it is a blessing. The lessons you have learned, the strength you have gained, and the faith you have built during this season of waiting will be the foundation for the breakthrough that is about to happen in your life. Think about the times when you were unsure, when you doubted whether you could continue, but you did continue. You endured. And now you are stronger than you were before. You are more capable than you realize. You are more than ready to receive everything God has for you. I understand how easy it is to feel like time is slipping away. The world around us is constantly moving, constantly changing, and we can feel like we are being left behind. But let me remind you that God is not in a rush. He is preparing you in the most perfect way. There are no mistakes, no missteps in His plan. Every detour you have taken, every moment you have questioned, has been a part of the greater design. He is not holding back your blessing. He is waiting for the right moment, and that moment is now. Imagine you are walking into a room that is dark. You are unsure of what lies ahead, but you trust that the light will eventually reveal itself. Just because you cannot see the full picture right now does not mean it's not already in motion. Just because the light is not shining brightly today does not mean it will not soon burst through the darkness. The delay you feel is simply the process of God aligning everything perfectly for your arrival. And when that moment comes, when the light finally breaks through, it will be a moment you will never forget. It will be everything you hoped for and more. So, stop scrolling. Take a moment to recognize that the waiting you have been experiencing has been far from wasted. It has been a time of growth, a time of change, and a time of preparation. You are not behind schedule. You are exactly where you need to be. Everything is coming together, even though you may not yet see it. Every prayer you have prayed, every dream you have held in your heart is on its way to you. It is all unfolding in perfect time. We often compare our journeys to others, but no one else's path is yours to walk. You have your own unique purpose, your own unique timing, and just because someone else's door opened sooner than yours does not mean you are forgotten. Your door will open at the perfect time, and it will be more beautiful, more powerful, and more aligned with your purpose than you ever imagined. Your waiting season is not wasted time. It is a season of growth, of learning, and of preparation. During this time, you have been changing, becoming the person who can carry the weight of the blessings that are coming your way. You are being prepared to receive more than you could have imagined. And when that moment comes, when everything shifts in your favor, you will see that every moment of waiting was worth it. This is not the end of your story. In fact, it is only the beginning. The waiting is over. The season of preparation has passed, and now is the time for you to step into everything you've been working for, everything you've been praying for. God has been aligning things in your life, positioning you for the moment you've been waiting for. Your breakthrough is at hand. The opportunities you've been longing for are about to present themselves, and when they do, you will know that every step you've taken, every moment you've waited, has been worth it. There is no such thing as wasted time in God's kingdom. Every second, every experience, every moment of doubt has been a part of your divine journey. What seems like a delay is simply God's preparation. And you are more than ready to step into the life you've been praying for. You were not delayed. You were being shaped. You were being prepared. And now you are ready to step into your destiny. When you finally see the results of your waiting, when the doors begin to open and the opportunities unfold, you will look back and realize that it wasn't a delay at all. It was simply the time it took for God to prepare you for the greatness He had in store for you. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. And now your moment has arrived. So stop scrolling. This is your time. Your breakthrough is here. Your blessing is on the way. All that you've prayed for, all that you've worked for, is coming to fruition. It is happening now. You are not delayed. You are prepared. You are ready. Step into your future because it's already here. The journey you are on is not a race. There is no need to compare yourself to others. The life you are meant to live is unfolding at exactly the right pace, and every step has led you to this moment. You have come through trials, endured challenges, and faced moments of doubt, but that does not define you. What defines you is your strength to keep going, to keep trusting, to keep believing that what you have been waiting for will come to pass. God has been working behind the scenes, orchestrating events that will lead you to the moment of your breakthrough. This is not a coincidence. This is divine timing. You may not understand all the steps or see the full picture, but trust in the process. Every experience you have had, every season you have walked through has been necessary for your growth. Even the moments when it felt like nothing was happening, God was preparing you in ways you couldn't see at the time. Every delay, every unanswered prayer, every door that closed was simply part of the preparation for something greater. It is so easy to fall into the trap of feeling behind, especially when it seems like everyone else around you is moving forward. It's easy to get caught in the spiral of comparison, to look at the success of others and wonder why it hasn't happened for you yet. But what if I told you that you are not behind? What if I told you that what feels like a delay is actually a time of divine preparation, a time when God is setting you up for something much bigger than you ever imagined? What if this waiting season is not about a delay at all, but rather the moment where you are being refined, sharpened, and made ready to receive the fullness of God's blessings? Think about the process of growth in nature. A seed planted in the soil doesn't immediately burst into a full-grown tree. It takes time, it takes nurturing, it takes preparation. And during that time, you cannot see the seed's progress, but underneath the surface, deep in the earth, something is happening. Roots are forming, the seed is being strengthened, and then, when the time is right, it breaks through the surface and begins to grow, reaching toward the sky. You too are like that seed. God has been planting you, nurturing you, and preparing you. And while it may feel like nothing is happening on the surface, trust that beneath it all, you are growing, strengthening, and becoming exactly what you need to be to step into your purpose. The moment you've been waiting for will come, but it will come at the perfect time, not a moment too soon and not a moment too late. God's timing is impeccable, and He is preparing you for the greatness that is about to unfold. This time of waiting is not a punishment, it is a gift. It is a time for you to grow, to become more rooted in your faith, and to prepare for the blessing that is coming your way. When that moment finally arrives, you will know that every step you've taken, every struggle you've faced, and every moment you thought you were delayed will have been worth it. In this moment, you may feel discouraged. You may be wondering why it hasn't happened yet. But I want you to understand that you are not forgotten. You are not left behind. You are exactly where you need to be. You are in the process of becoming. The waiting is not wasted. Every moment is a chance for you to build your strength, deepen your faith, and align yourself with the plans God has for you. The journey you are on is a divine one. And while you may not see the full picture, you can trust that it is unfolding just as it should. You are being shaped into the person who can handle the blessing that is coming your way. You are being prepared to step into the life you prayed for. The struggle you've endured is not in vain. It is a refining process that is making you stronger, wiser, and more equipped for what lies ahead. God knows exactly what you need, and He knows exactly when you are ready to receive it. When that moment comes, you will look back and see that everything you have gone through has been leading you to this point. Every delay was a necessary part of the process, and now you are more prepared than ever to step into the fullness of your purpose. In times of uncertainty, it's easy to lose hope. It's easy to get caught up in the fear that maybe you've missed your opportunity, or that the door you've been waiting for will never open. But I want to encourage you to keep going, keep trusting, keep believing. You are not behind, you are not forgotten. God is preparing you for something amazing, something beyond your wildest dreams. And when the time is right, that door will open and you will walk through it, knowing that everything you have experienced up to this point has been a part of God's plan for your life. There are moments when it feels like the world is moving faster than you are. You might feel like you're standing still while everyone else seems to be advancing, reaching their goals and living their dreams. But what you may not realize is that God is working in you during this time. He is refining your character. He is strengthening your heart. He is preparing your mind to handle the success that is coming your way. The waiting is not wasted. It is a season of growth, a season of preparation, a season of becoming who you are meant to be. When the breakthrough finally comes, when the doors open and the dreams you've been holding on to for so long begin to materialize, you will see that the waiting was not in vain. You will realize that it was all part of God's perfect plan. Every moment of doubt, every moment of frustration, every moment of waiting was a necessary part of your journey. And now you are ready to step into the life you've been praying for, ready to walk into the destiny that has been waiting for you all along. So, I encourage you to stop scrolling. Stop comparing your journey to the journeys of others. Stop looking at the success of others and thinking that you've missed your chance. God's plan for your life is unique. It is designed specifically for you, and while it may feel like you are behind, you are exactly where you need to be. The breakthrough is coming, and when it does, you will know that everything you've gone through, every moment of waiting, was worth it. Trust the process. Trust God's timing. You are not delayed. You are being prepared for something greater than you can imagine. And when that moment comes, you will be ready to step into the life you were always meant to live. I see you waiting, wondering if it's all going to happen, wondering why you feel as if you're in a holding pattern while others seem to be moving ahead. But let me tell you this, your waiting is not a setback. It's not an indication that you're falling behind. It is divine preparation. What you see as delay, God sees as a process, a divine process designed just for you, and in the fullness of time it will all make sense. Right now there may be moments when you question your purpose. You might ask yourself, why does it seem like everyone else is achieving their dreams and I'm still here waiting? It's easy to look around and think that you're not where you're supposed to be, but the truth is you are exactly where you need to be. God's timing is perfect, and His ways are higher than our ways. When it feels like you are stuck, remember that behind the scenes, He is preparing you for what is to come. You may not see it now, but everything you've gone through has been a lesson. Every failure, every challenge, every delay has been an essential part of shaping you into the person you need to become. God has been strengthening you, teaching you, and equipping you for the moment when your breakthrough arrives. The breakthrough that you've been praying for is coming, but you are not yet ready for it. The purpose of this waiting season is not to punish you, but to refine you. It is a time of growth, a time to develop the qualities, the strength, and the resilience that you will need to carry the weight of your blessings. We live in a world that wants everything instantaneously. We have access to so much, and yet the true gifts in life don't always come quickly. The greatest things take time to develop. Consider the process of making wine. It takes years for grapes to mature into something that becomes fine wine. The grapes can't rush the process. They must go through every season, every step, to become the product that people will savor. Your life is much the same way. You may feel that you're waiting for your time, but in reality, you are being made into something extraordinary. Every moment of waiting is part of your transformation. It's in those moments of waiting that God is refining you, removing what doesn't belong, and preparing you to handle the greatness that is on the horizon. When you're in a period of waiting, it can feel as though time is standing still. You might question if things will ever change. But remember this, it's not about the speed with which things happen, it's about the depth of the preparation. God is preparing you for a future that will far exceed what you can imagine, but you must be ready to step into it when it arrives. That readiness comes from a deep and faithful trust in the process. It comes from understanding that every season, no matter how long it lasts, has purpose. God does not waste time. He does not waste the moments that seem like delays. He uses them to prepare you for a life that is beyond anything you could dream up on your own. You might be looking for the finish line, but God sees something greater for you. What He has for you is bigger than what you can fathom in this moment. And so, the waiting, the preparation, the refining, it's all necessary. I know it can be frustrating. You want to see the results now. You want to be in the place where you feel that your efforts have paid off. But let me ask you this. If you were to skip the preparation, would you be ready to handle the fullness of what is coming your way? If you had everything you've ever wanted right now, would you be able to carry the responsibility, the blessings, and the lessons that come with it? There is a reason for the wait. God is building something in you, something that will last, something that will withstand the test of time. The world might tell you that you should have it all now, that success should be instant, that you should be at the peak of your life's journey right now. But God's timing is different. He knows when you will be most ready, when you will be able to appreciate and steward the blessing He has for you. This time is not wasted. This is not a period of punishment. This is a period of preparation. And as you wait, God is working in you. He is shaping you. He is building your character, your resilience, and your capacity to hold everything He has planned for you. What feels like delay is not denial. What feels like waiting is actually a season of becoming. God is preparing your heart, your mind, and your spirit for the things that are coming your way. And when those things arrive, you will see that you are more than capable of handling them. You will see that every moment of waiting, every moment of doubt was necessary. You will see that God knew exactly what He was doing when He allowed you to wait, when He allowed you to grow, and when He allowed you to develop the strength to endure. In the moments when you feel like you are behind, remember that your journey is your own. There is no need to compare yourself to others. The time that they have spent on their journey is not the same time that you need. Your process is unique. Your destiny is different. And that's something to be grateful for. You are not in competition with anyone else. You are in partnership with God, and He is leading you exactly where you need to go. You might not understand all the steps, and that's okay. It's not about understanding everything now. It's about trusting the process, trusting God's hand in your life, trusting that He sees the bigger picture, even when you can't. Trusting that when the time is right, everything will fall into place. And when it does, you will know that you are never delayed. You are always being prepared for the moment you were destined for. So, as you wait, know that you are not forgotten. You are not being overlooked. God sees you. He knows your heart. He knows your dreams. He knows your struggles, your fears, your frustrations. And He is using this time to build in you everything you need to step into the fullness of your purpose. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. And when your moment arrives, when your breakthrough comes, you will look back and realize that every moment of waiting was worth it. This is not the time to give up. This is the time to trust. This is the time to lean into your faith and know that the delay is not a denial. The delay is divine preparation. It is God doing His work in you so that when the time comes, you will be more than ready to walk into the fullness of what He has for you. Trust the process, trust the timing, and trust the one who is orchestrating everything. The moment you've been waiting for is on the way. It may not be here yet, but it is coming. And when it does, you will know that everything you've been through has been leading to this moment, the moment you were always meant to step into. As you continue to wait, let your heart be at peace. It's easy to be anxious, to question whether God hears your prayers, or if the desires you've been holding close to your heart will ever come to pass. But hear this: He knows your heart, He knows the depth of your longing, and He is working behind the scenes in ways you cannot yet see. Every step you take in faith is a step closer to your breakthrough, even if it doesn't feel like it. When the seasons seem to drag, remember that there is purpose in every pause. This pause is not a pause of emptiness, but a pause of divine positioning. God is aligning you with the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances. You might feel alone in your waiting, but you are being set up for something greater than you can imagine. You are being prepared for a shift, a transformation, a time when everything will come together. While it might seem like a delay to you, it is in fact the preparation you need to succeed. It's as if you are being sculpted, carved, and shaped into something beautiful and strong. Like a diamond that must go through intense pressure to reach its full brilliance, you too are being refined in the waiting. And in those moments of doubt, let me remind you, God's plans are never thwarted. They are never delayed. What seems delayed is only the unveiling of something even better than you could have ever planned. When it feels like time is moving too slowly, trust that God is moving things around you, aligning events in your favor even though you can't see it yet. You may not be able to control the clock, but you can trust that God's timing is perfect. What you might be experiencing is a season of patience. And let's be honest, patience can feel like one of the most difficult virtues to cultivate. But in this season, patience is your ally. It is the space where you allow God to mold and prepare you. It is the ground where your trust in Him grows deeper, where your faith gets stretched, And during this time, you are developing the strength to hold on to what is coming, the strength to be ready when your breakthrough arrives. Sometimes it takes the slowing down to make you realize that everything you've gone through has purpose. You are not just walking through life aimlessly, you are being refined. Think of the seed that is planted in the soil. It doesn't sprout instantly, it is buried, hidden in the earth. But underneath the surface, something powerful is happening. The seed is breaking open, stretching, growing roots, becoming something that can stand tall. If the seed gave up during the darkness, it would never reach the light. The same is true for you. The process you are in right now is preparing you to emerge stronger, wiser, and more equipped for the life that is ahead. In every moment of stillness, in every moment of waiting, know that you are becoming. You are becoming the person who is ready for your next chapter. Each day, each step is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to strengthen your heart. What feels like stagnation is in fact a powerful movement in your life. The movement is not always outward or visible to others, but it is deeply personal, internal, and spiritual. If you think about the stories of the great men and women in the Bible, you'll realize that their greatest achievements didn't happen in a rush. They happened after years of waiting, praying, and trusting. Abraham, for example, waited many years for the fulfillment of God's promise, and even in those years of waiting, God was preparing him. He was testing Abraham's faith, strengthening his character, and building trust in God's timing. The promise didn't come in his time, but it came in God's time, and it was more than Abraham could have imagined. You see, there is nothing that happens in your life by chance. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment is part of the grand design that God is weaving for you. What seems like an obstacle is actually an opportunity for God to reveal his perfect plan. You might feel stuck, but God is working in the unseen, bringing things together in ways you can't understand now. But when the moment arrives, you will know, without a doubt, that everything, every pause, every delay was necessary for you to step into the destiny he has for you. I understand the frustration you may feel, the frustration of seeing others move ahead while you seem to be standing still. But let me assure you, your path is unique. The way that God is leading you is different from anyone else's, and it is exactly how it needs to be. The lessons you are learning right now, the growth you are experiencing, are all preparing you for the perfect timing. When you are ready, everything will fall into place, and you will step into a season of fulfillment, success, and abundance. Patience doesn't mean inaction, though. It means trusting, praying, and believing, even when the circumstances don't seem to align with what you've been waiting for. It means standing firm in your faith, knowing that every step, every moment of waiting is part of the process. You are becoming the person you need to be to handle what is coming. So when it feels like nothing is happening, remember that something powerful is at work inside of you. God is working on you, preparing you to hold the blessing that is coming. There is a peace that comes when you fully trust in God's timing. It is the peace of knowing that you don't have to rush, you don't have to force things to happen. When you trust God, you can rest. You can trust that He is in control and His plan is unfolding exactly as it should. You are not behind, you are not delayed, you are right where you need to be. You are being prepared, refined, and shaped into the person who will walk into their destiny at just the right moment. When you look back on this time, you will see that everything you've experienced has been building up to something greater than you could have imagined. The waiting will not feel like wasted time, it will feel like the crucial time you needed to grow, to learn, and to develop into the person who could receive and steward the blessings that God has in store for you. And when that moment comes, when everything falls into place, you will know without a doubt that God was preparing you the whole time. You weren't delayed, you were being shaped for something extraordinary. And in the fullness of time, you will see that this season was not one of waiting, it was one of becoming. So, stand firm, trust the process. God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating things that you cannot yet see. Your breakthrough is coming. You were not delayed, you were being prepared. Trust in His timing, trust in His plan, and watch as everything aligns perfectly in His perfect time. Remember that you are not stuck and you are not behind. Every moment of waiting is an essential part of the preparation that God is guiding you through. The seasons of pause, though challenging, are not wasted. They are filled with purpose and divine alignment. God is working in ways you cannot yet see, arranging everything around you so that when the time is right, you will step into the fullness of your destiny. Trust in His timing, trust in His plan, and have faith that every delay has been a part of the process of making you ready for the breakthrough that's coming. You are being shaped, strengthened, and refined for something far greater than you could imagine. Your moment is coming, and when it does, you will look back and realize that every moment of waiting, every step you took in faith, was necessary for the beautiful future that God has prepared for you. So do not lose heart. Keep moving forward with trust, with patience, and with the certainty that you are on the right path. Your breakthrough is closer than you think, and when it comes, you will know that you were perfectly prepared for it. You were not delayed. God was preparing you for this moment. There is a power that moves mountains, a force that defies logic, a divine presence that transforms the unseen into reality. It is not found in struggle, nor in worry, nor in the restless pursuit of solutions. It is discovered in surrender. The moment you release your grip on the problem, the answer emerges. The secret is simple. Give it to God, and He will do the impossible for you. You have been conditioned to believe that effort alone produces results, that worry is necessary to prove your concern, that fear is the price of responsibility. But what if the very act of worrying is blocking your blessing? What if the struggle is not proof of your faith, but proof of your doubt? For the one who truly trusts in God has no need to wrestle with what is already finished in the divine mind. Do not beg for what is already yours. You are not pleading with a reluctant God. He is not withholding blessings until you have suffered enough. He has already given, already answered, already made a way. It is not your striving that brings forth the impossible. It is your unwavering trust in His unseen hand. To believe in God is to believe that He is working beyond the veil of physical reality, aligning all things according to His perfect will. Close your eyes for a moment and see beyond the visible. Feel the weight lift from your shoulders as you release the burden into His hands. Can you sense the shift? That is the moment faith takes hold. That is the moment impossibility begins to crumble. For what is impossible to man is not impossible to God. If you knew without a doubt that the answer was already on its way, would you still worry? If you could see the finished work, would you still fear? The unseen is more real than the seen. The invisible forces of God are at work even now, orchestrating miracles beyond your understanding. But you must allow it. You must step aside and let God be God. The greatest faith is not in effort, but in rest. Resting in the absolute knowing that He is in control, resting in the certainty that He has never failed and will never fail. Your doubts cannot change His plan. Your worries cannot delay His promises. The only thing that can keep you from your blessing is your refusal to let go. Lift your heart in gratitude, not anxiety. Walk as if the miracle has already occurred. Speak as if the promise has already been fulfilled. Let your mind dwell only on the goodness of God, and you will see the impossible bow before you. The secret is not in trying, it is in trusting. The moment you truly surrender, the power of heaven moves in ways beyond your comprehension. Give it to God, and He will do what no man can do. There is a sacred law and unshakable truth that governs all things. It is not dependent on human logic, nor is it swayed by the conditions of this world. It is the divine principle of faith, the understanding that what you seek is already yours in the unseen. The secret is not in effort, not in pleading, not in exhausting yourself with worry. The secret is in surrender. Give it to God, and He will do the impossible for you. You have spent too much time wrestling with what should be released, holding tightly to burdens that were never meant for you to carry. You analyze, you strategize, you try to force the outcome. But have you ever noticed that the more you struggle, the more impossible things seem? The weight of worry does not move the mountain, it builds another one. The chains of fear do not bring solutions, they tighten around you, and all along the answer has been waiting, just beyond the walls of your resistance. When you finally release it into the hands of God, when you step back and allow divine power to flow unrestrained, that is when the impossible becomes possible. That is when doors you never saw before begin to open. That is when paths are cleared, opportunities appear, and miracles unfold. Not because you worked harder, not because you figured it all out, but because you trusted in the one who already knows the way. Faith is not about waiting to see before believing. It is about believing before you see. It is walking in the assurance that God is already working behind the scenes, shifting things in your favor, preparing the way where there seems to be none. Your job is not to micromanage His divine process. Your job is to rest in the certainty of His promise, to let go and let God move in ways that human reasoning cannot comprehend. What is it that burdens your heart today? What is the thing that keeps you awake at night? The weight you carry in silence, the problem that feels unsolvable. Do you not know that God is already aware? Do you not see that He has already gone before you? If you truly understood that the answer exists in the realm of the unseen, would you still doubt? If you truly believe that God has never failed and will never fail, would you still fear? You do not need to chase after what is already yours. The blessings of God are not earned through struggle, they are received through faith. The moment you let go of the need to control, the moment you step into absolute trust, the moment you declare that it is done, even before it manifests, that is the moment the impossible begins to bow before you. Think of the birds in the sky. They do not toil, they do not worry about tomorrow, and yet they are provided for. The flowers of the field do not strain to bloom, and yet they are clothed in beauty beyond compare. If God provides for them so effortlessly, how much more will He provide for you? If He takes care of the smallest details of creation, do you not think He has already taken care of your need? The only thing standing between you and the manifestation of His power is your own resistance, your own unwillingness to surrender. You have spent too much time in fear, too much time in hesitation, too much time in the prison of doubt. But you were never meant to live that way. You were created to walk in divine authority, to move through life with the certainty that all things are working together for your good. Every delay is divine timing. Every closed door is protection. Every detour is leading you to something greater than you imagined. When you release your grip on worry, when you stop asking how and simply trust that it is already done, you will witness the impossible unfold before your eyes. Healing that seemed unattainable will flow into your life. Provisions that seemed out of reach will find their way to you. Relationships will be restored. Paths will be made straight, and what once seemed like an obstacle will become a testimony of God's power. But you must be willing to release it. You must be willing to step back and allow divine power to do what human effort cannot. You must be willing to declare, even in the midst of uncertainty, that it is finished, that it is already done. For God is not waiting for you to beg Him. He is waiting for you to believe Him. When you pray, do not pray from a place of desperation. Pray from a place of knowing. Do not speak as though you are trying to convince God to move on your behalf. Speak as though you are thanking Him for what is already in motion. Speak as though you are standing in the reality of the miracle before it even appears. Because faith is not about hoping something might happen. Faith is the conviction that it already has. The moment you shift from worry to trust, from doubt to certainty, you align yourself with the divine flow of God's power. You step into the realm where the impossible is made possible. You walk in a reality where obstacles are no longer barriers, but stepping stones. You no longer fight battles that have already been won. You no longer struggle for what is already secured. Look back on your life. How many times has God come through for you? How many situations did you think would break you, yet you are still standing? How many moments did you believe there was no way out, yet He made a way? If He has never failed you before, why would He fail you now? If He has proven time and time again that He is faithful, why do you still question? It is not for you to figure out how. It is not for you to stress over the details. It is simply for you to believe, to step into the knowing that He who promised is faithful, that He who began a good work in you will bring it to completion, that He who spoke the world into existence is more than capable of handling the concerns of your life. You have nothing to lose by surrendering, but everything to gain. You have carried this burden long enough. You have wrestled with fear for too long. Release it now. Release it fully. Not halfway, not with one foot still in doubt, but completely. Let it go and do not take it back. Give it to God and never again wonder if He is working. For the moment you release it, the moment you step into the certainty of faith, the moment you declare that it is done, you will see the impossible bow before you. The mountain will move. The chains will break. The way will be made. Not by your effort, not by your worry, but by the power of the one who holds all things in His hands. Give it to God. Trust without hesitation. Walk as though the promise is already fulfilled. Speak as though the answer is already here. For the secret is not in striving. The secret is in surrender. And when you surrender fully, you will see that what once seemed impossible has already been done. There is a divine order to life, an unseen force that governs all things. It is not chaos, nor is it random. It is precise, intentional, and beyond human comprehension. Every event, every moment, every challenge is unfolding exactly as it should. But when you allow worry to take root, when you grip onto the illusion of control, you step out of alignment with that divine order. You fight battles that are not yours to fight. You try to force what was meant to flow. You stand in the way of the very blessing that is seeking you. Surrender is not weakness, it is power. It is the quiet confidence of one who knows that God has already worked it out. It is the unwavering trust that does not require proof to believe. It is the certainty that even in silence, even when nothing appears to be happening, everything is happening. The moment you release your need to figure it all out, the moment you truly let go, the impossible begins to move. You have spent so much time asking, praying, pleading, hoping, but have you ever stopped to receive? Have you ever allowed yourself to dwell in the reality that it is already done? Because the truth is, God has never withheld anything from you. He is not waiting for you to prove yourself. He is not delaying your breakthrough to test you. The moment you align yourself with faith, the moment you step fully into trust, you enter the space where miracles occur effortlessly. Trust lives in intercourse with. Think of a river flowing effortlessly towards the ocean. It does not struggle, it does not force its way, it simply flows. But if you attempt to block it, if you try to redirect its course with your own limited understanding, you create resistance. The water does not stop, it simply builds pressure. And the more you resist, the more turbulent things become. But the moment you remove the barriers, the moment you allow it to move as it was always meant to, peace is restored. This is the nature of surrender. This is the nature of faith. When you hold on to worry, when you refuse to release your burdens to God, you are standing in the way of His perfect plan. You are trying to force what was meant to unfold naturally. You are allowing fear to block what has already been given to you. But when you surrender, when you truly place it in His hands and walk away from the worry, you make room for His power to flow unhindered. And in that space, the impossible becomes reality. You have prayed for an answer, but have you created space for it to arrive? You have asked for a miracle, but are you prepared to receive it? Because faith is not simply believing, it is knowing. It is walking in the reality of what you have asked for before it even manifests. It is speaking with the authority of someone who has already seen the outcome. It is moving as if the problem has already been solved. If you truly believed that God was handling it, would you still stress? If you truly trusted that He had already made a way, would you still fear? No, you would walk with peace. You would wake up with confidence. You would rest in the assurance that all things are working in your favor. Because worry is a symptom of doubt, and doubt is what delays the blessing. The moment you step into faith, the moment you allow your heart to rest in trust, the doors that seem closed will open effortlessly. You have nothing to gain by holding on to fear, but everything to gain by surrendering. You have been carrying this weight for too long. It is not yours to carry. It was never meant for you. God has already gone before you, already prepared the way, already set the answer in motion. Your only task is to trust, to let go, to stop looking for proof and start moving in certainty. What you desire is not far from you, the healing you seek, the breakthrough you need, the answer you have been waiting for. It is already done, but you must stop wrestling with it. You must stop trying to force what is meant to flow. You must release it completely, without hesitation, without conditions, without looking back, because the moment you truly let go, the moment you step into absolute trust, you will see the impossible unfold before your very eyes. God is not limited by human logic. He does not operate on your timeline. He does not need circumstances to align in order to move. He is above all things, beyond all things, working through all things. What seems impossible to you is effortless to Him. What feels delayed to you is already in motion. What appears broken to you is already being restored. The only thing required of you is to trust, not halfway, not with one foot still in fear, but completely. You have prayed for open doors, but have you thanked Him for the ones He has already opened? You have asked for guidance, but have you acknowledged the times He has already led you? Gratitude is the language of faith. When you begin to thank God in advance, when you begin to speak as though it is already done, you step into alignment with His divine power. You shift from asking to receiving. You move from waiting to experiencing. Your words carry weight. Your thoughts shape your reality. When you speak from a place of worry, when you allow fear to dictate your thoughts, you reinforce the very thing you are trying to escape. But when you speak in faith, when you declare with conviction that God is in control, you align yourself with the supernatural. You make space for the impossible to manifest. You do not need to beg for what has already been given. You do not need to convince God to bless you. He already has. You simply need to receive, to let go of the resistance, to release the fear, to step into the knowing that it is already done. This is not blind faith. This is divine truth. This is the way things have always worked. The moment you surrender, the moment you give it to God and stop worrying, you step into the realm of miracles. Nothing is too hard for Him. No situation is beyond His reach. No obstacle is too great for His power. What you see as a dead end, He sees as an opportunity for His glory. What you perceive as impossible, He knows is already resolved. The only question is, will you trust Him? Will you release it? Will you stop trying to figure it all out and simply allow His power to move through your life? You have waited long enough. You have carried this weight for too many nights, questioned for too many days, allowed fear to take up space in your mind for too long. It is time to let go. It is time to give it to God and never take it back. It is time to walk as though the answer is already here, to speak as though the breakthrough has already occurred, to move as though the impossible has already been overturned. You were never meant to struggle. You were never meant to live in fear. You were never meant to be burdened by what was always meant for God to handle. Step into the knowing. Step into the certainty. Step into the divine reality that all things are already working for your good. And when you do, you will see that what once seemed impossible was simply waiting for you to believe. You must understand that the moment you give it to God, You step into a realm where all things are possible. You no longer live by what you see, by what you hear, or by what the world tells you is real. You live by a deeper truth, a higher law, a divine principle that transcends human understanding. Worry is the mind's desperate attempt to hold on to control, but faith is the spirit's surrender to something far greater. And in that surrender, mountains moved, doors open, and what once seemed impossible becomes your new reality. Every great miracle begins with surrender. Every answered prayer is birthed from trust. Not partial trust, not conditional trust, but absolute, unwavering, unshakable trust. The kind of trust that does not ask when or how, but simply declares it is done. The kind of trust that does not look to circumstances for confirmation, but knows within the depths of its being that God is already working. When you trust, you stop striving. When you trust, you stop forcing. When you trust, you enter into a divine flow where everything unfolds effortlessly. You were never meant to carry the burdens you hold. The weight of worry, the fear of the unknown, the endless struggle of trying to figure everything out, these are not yours to bear. You were created to live in peace, to walk in divine assurance, to rest in the knowledge that God has already gone before you. The battle is not yours, it is His. The solution is not something you must create, it is something you must receive. Your only task is to step out of the way, to release your grip, to allow God to do what only He can do. How many nights have you spent worrying about things that were already resolved? How many days have you allowed fear to steal your joy, only to realize later that God had it handled all along? Look back on your life. Every time you thought there was no way, He made one. Every time you felt abandoned, He was there. Every time you thought the situation was impossible, He turned it around. If He did it before, why do you doubt He will do it again? If He has always been faithful, why do you question Him now? Faith does not operate in hesitation. Faith does not negotiate with fear. Faith does not wait for evidence before believing. Faith speaks, and it is so. Faith declares, and it manifests. Faith knows that even when nothing appears to be happening, everything is happening beneath the surface. Just as a seed is buried in the ground before it breaks through the soil, so too are your prayers taking root before they manifest in your life. Just because you cannot see it does not mean it is not real. Just because it has not yet appeared does not mean it is not on its way. You must stop living as though your worries have more power than your faith. You must stop speaking as though your problems are bigger than your God. You must stop giving life to fear when you have the ability to command peace. There is power in your words. There is power in your belief. When you speak life, life comes forth. When you speak victory, victory follows. When you speak faith, miracles unfold. You cannot afford to allow doubt to take root in your mind. You cannot afford to let fear have a voice in your life. The moment you silence fear and amplify faith, you activate the supernatural. God is not distant. He is not indifferent to your struggles. He is not unaware of what you need. He has been waiting for you to step into alignment with Him. He has been waiting for you to release your attachment to outcomes, to let go of your need to control, to trust in the unseen rather than the seen. The moment you shift from worry to worship, from fear to faith, from stress to surrender, everything changes. Heaven responds. The impossible bows before you. What once seemed out of reach suddenly finds its way to you effortlessly. You have tried it your way. You have analyzed, planned, strategized, and exhausted yourself trying to make things work. But now it is time to step into a higher way, a way that does not demand struggle, a way that does not require anxiety, a way that simply asks you to believe. When you believe, you stop trying to force doors open and instead watch as they open before you. When you believe, you stop begging for what is already yours and begin to walk as if it is done. When you believe, you live with the peace that surpasses all understanding, knowing that nothing can stand in the way of what God has for you. You were not created to live in worry. You were not designed to be consumed by stress. You were meant to live in divine ease, to walk in unwavering confidence, to rest in the knowledge that everything is already handled. But you must release your grip. You must stop trying to control what was never meant to be controlled. You must step out of the way and allow God to be God. Because the moment you do, the moment you truly give it all to Him, the impossible will bow before you, and you will see that it was never impossible at all. You must realize that holding on too tightly is what keeps you from receiving. The more you struggle, the more resistance you create. The more you try to figure it all out, the more you entangle yourself in confusion. But when you step back, when you release the burden, when you give it to God completely, without picking it back up, the answers come. The doors swing open. The weight lifts. There is a divine order, a sacred timing, a perfect unfolding happening in your life, and the only thing required of you is trust. Trust that what is meant for you cannot miss you. Trust that what is seeking you is already on its way. Trust that the invisible hand of God is working on your behalf in ways beyond your comprehension. You do not need to chase after what is already yours. You do not need to beg for what heaven has already assigned to you. You do not need to exhaust yourself in the pursuit of what is freely given. What you seek is seeking you. The moment you align with this truth, the moment you stop resisting and start allowing, you will see miracles unfold. Not because you forced them, but because you trust them into being. Not because you worried them into existence, but because you stood in faith, unwavering, unshaken, knowing that what God has promised is already done. Fear will tell you that surrender means weakness, but in truth, surrender is the greatest strength. It is the mind that doubts, but the spirit knows. It is the mind that fears, but the soul is at peace. The moment you shift from the limited perspective of your human understanding to the boundless vision of divine truth, you step into the miraculous. You begin to see beyond the illusion of lack. You begin to understand that what appears to be a delay is only divine preparation. You begin to recognize that nothing is ever truly lost, for in God all things are being rearranged for your highest good. Stop measuring the progress of your life by what you see with your physical eyes. Stop allowing the external world to dictate your faith. The unseen is more real than the seen. The invisible is more powerful than the visible. Every breakthrough begins in the realm of faith before it manifests in the natural. Just because you do not see movement does not mean nothing is happening. Just because you do not hear an answer does not mean heaven is silent. Everything is being orchestrated in perfect harmony, and your only task is to remain in alignment, to hold on to the truth when fear whispers lies, to stand firm in faith when doubt tries to shake you, to declare victory even before the evidence appears. You have spent too much time believing in limitations, too much time worrying about the how, too much time trying to manipulate the outcome instead of resting in the promise. But when did worry ever change anything? When did fear ever open a door? When did doubt ever bring a breakthrough? The moment you step beyond these lower states of being, the moment you rise above the illusion of struggle, you will see that you were never waiting on God. He was always waiting on you. Waiting for you to trust, waiting for you to surrender, waiting for you to let go so He could take over. Nothing is too hard for God. Nothing is beyond His reach. Nothing is impossible when you step into divine partnership. The world will tell you that some things cannot be changed, but the truth is, everything is changeable. The world will tell you that your circumstances are final, but the truth is, circumstances are merely reflections of past thoughts and beliefs. The moment you shift your inner state, your external world must shift to match it. This is the law, this is the truth, this is the power you have been given. You were not meant to live in a constant state of struggle. You were not designed to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You were created to walk in divine ease, to move through life with the confidence that everything is always working for your good. But as long as you hold on to fear, As long as you try to control what is not yours to control, you block the very blessings that are meant for you. The moment you let go, the moment you give it all to God, you make space for the miraculous. You allow the impossible to become possible. You open yourself to a life of peace, joy, and effortless manifestation. Look back on your journey. Every time you thought you had reached the end, a way was made. Every time you thought it was over, a new beginning appeared. Every time you felt forgotten, you were being prepared. The same God who brought you through before will do it again. The same power that carried you then is carrying you now, but you must release your grip. You must step out of your own way. You must trust, not just with your words, but with your whole being. Worry is a habit, but so is faith. Fear is a pattern, but so is trust. The choice is yours. You can choose to live in fear, constantly chasing, constantly striving, constantly doubting, or you can choose to live in faith, resting in the assurance that everything is already done. When you choose faith, you activate a power greater than anything you could ever imagine. When you choose trust, you align yourself with the miraculous. When you choose surrender, you position yourself for the impossible to become your reality. You do not need to have all the answers. You do not need to figure it all out. You simply need to decide right now that you will no longer carry what is not yours to carry, that you will no longer allow fear to dictate your life, that you will no longer question whether God is working, because He is. And when you fully release, when you finally give it all to Him, you will see what you have been waiting for all along. Not because you forced it, not because you worried about it, but because you believed, because you trusted, because you knew that the moment you gave it to God, the impossible became inevitable. You must come to the place where your faith is so unwavering that no storm can shake you, no delay can discourage you, and no obstacle can make you doubt. This is the level where miracles happen. Not in desperation, not in striving, but in stillness, in absolute confidence, in the knowing that what is yours is already yours, that what you have asked for has already been given, and that all you need to do is stand in agreement with heaven's timing. The moment you fully let go of worry, you step into alignment with divine abundance. You step into the reality where nothing is missing, nothing is lacking, and everything you desire is unfolding exactly as it should. Many will say they trust God, yet their actions reveal otherwise. They say they believe, yet they still hold on tightly, trying to control what is beyond their grasp. They still allow doubt to creep in, still allow fear to whisper lies into their hearts. But true faith requires release. It requires you to open your hands, to unclench your grip, to surrender fully and completely. Not halfway, not with conditions, but with the kind of faith that says, even if I do not see the way, I know the way is already made. The kind of faith that refuses to be shaken even when everything in the natural seems impossible. The kind of faith that calls things that are not as though they are, that speaks life into the unseen, that declares victory before the evidence appears. Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap, yet they lack nothing. Look at the lilies of the field. They do not labor or spin, yet they are clothed in beauty beyond compare. How much more will your Father in heaven provide for you? How much more will He take care of your needs? Yet you worry, yet you fear, yet you act as though you are alone, as though you have no source, as though the weight of the world rests upon your shoulders. But you were never meant to carry it. You were never meant to strive, to struggle, to live in fear of tomorrow. The moment you hand it over, the moment you truly release every burden, you step into the life you were meant to live. A life of freedom, a life of divine flow, a life where the impossible is not just possible, it is inevitable. Think about the times in your life when you tried to force something to happen. Think about the times you pushed, you pulled, you struggled, yet nothing worked. The doors remained closed. The breakthrough seemed distant. The harder you tried, the more resistance you faced. But what happened when you finally let go? What happened when you stopped forcing and started trusting? Things shifted, doors opened. The very thing you were striving for came effortlessly. This is the divine order. This is how faith works. The moment you stop resisting and start allowing, you enter the flow of God's perfect plan. The moment you let go of the need to control, you make space for the miraculous. Nothing is impossible for the one who believes. This is not just a statement, it is a law. It is an unbreakable truth. If you believe that something is out of reach, it will remain out of reach. If you believe that something is difficult, it will be difficult. But if you believe that all things are working together for your good, if you believe that divine favor surrounds you, if you believe that every closed door is leading you to a better one, then that is exactly what you will experience. It is not about wishful thinking. It is not about empty hope. It is about knowing. Knowing that what is unseen is more real than what is seen. Knowing that what you have prayed for is already in motion. Knowing that even when nothing appears to be happening, everything is happening. How long will you allow fear to rob you of your blessings? How long will you continue to carry burdens that were never yours to carry? How long will you let doubt steal your peace? You must decide. You must choose. You must make up your mind that from this moment forward, you will walk in unwavering faith, that you will release every worry, every fear, every doubt, and place it all in the hands of the one who holds all things together. And the moment you do, you will feel the shift. The moment you truly surrender, you will witness doors open effortlessly. The moment you give it to God, you will see the impossible become reality. Let this be the moment you stop striving. Let this be the moment you release every burden. Let this be the moment you choose faith over fear, trust over doubt, peace over worry. Because the truth is, it was never about you figuring it all out. It was never about you making it happen. It was always about your willingness to trust, your willingness to believe, your willingness to let go and allow God to move in ways you never imagined. And when you finally do, when you step into that level of trust, you will not have to chase what is already yours. It will come to you. It will find you, and it will be greater than you ever dreamed. You must understand that the very act of surrender is not weakness. It is the greatest strength. It is the confidence that your Creator has already orchestrated every detail of your life. The struggle is not in waiting, but in your resistance to trust. Your mind, conditioned by the world, has been taught to fear lack, to chase outcomes, to fight for control. But you were never meant to live in a constant state of striving. When you fully give it to God, when you lay it down without picking it up again, you shift into divine ease. The reason many remain in cycles of frustration is that they pray but do not believe. They speak words of faith but entertain thoughts of doubt. They ask for a breakthrough but continue to hold on to past disappointments. But faith demands a full commitment. It demands that you walk as if it is already done, that you speak as if you have already received, that you move as though the door has already been opened. This is where transformation takes place. The moment you no longer look at the world around you for confirmation, but instead hold steadfast to the unseen truth, miracles become inevitable. God does not delay. It is not a matter of if, but when, and the timing is always perfect. What you call a delay is actually preparation. What you see as a setback is divine alignment. When you surrender to God's timing, you step into a reality where everything is working in your favor. The very thing that seemed impossible begins to unfold effortlessly. You do not have to figure out the how. You do not need to chase, force, or strive. The moment you give it over to God, the weight is lifted, the way is cleared, and what was once beyond reach becomes yours. The mind will always seek evidence before it believes. It wants proof. It wants to see results before it lets go of fear. But faith does not work that way. Faith moves before there is proof. Faith walks before the path is visible. Faith speaks before the manifestation. And this is why few truly experience the power of God, because they refuse to believe beyond what they can see. But the unseen is where the power is. As the unseen is where creation happens. The unseen is where what you have prayed for is already finished. You must stop looking at circumstances as truth. You must stop measuring your faith by what your eyes perceive, because what is visible now is simply a reflection of past thoughts, past fears, past beliefs. But the moment you shift, the moment you stand firm in faith and refuse to waver, the entire course of your life changes. You are not waiting on God. God is waiting on you, waiting for you to stop doubting, waiting for you to stop looking at lack, waiting for you to stop worrying, because the moment you truly let go, He moves. The moment you step aside, the impossible is made possible. Look at the stories of faith throughout time. Every miracle, every breakthrough, every manifestation was preceded by absolute trust. It was never by effort, never by struggle, never by fear, but by faith. The walls of Jericho fell not by force, but by obedience. The Red Sea parted not by logic, but by divine command. The sick were healed, the blind received sight, the dead were raised, not because of striving, but because of faith. The same God who performed miracles then is the same God who moves today. Nothing has changed except the willingness of people to believe. You must get to the place where doubt is no longer an option, where fear has no space in your mind, where worry is foreign to your spirit. And the only way to get there is to train yourself in faith, to speak life no matter what, to declare victory before the battle is won, to give thanks before the answer arrives. Because when you do, you are no longer operating in human limitation. You are stepping into divine power. And that is where mountains move. That is where prayers are answered. That is where the impossible bows to the name of the one who makes all things possible. The greatest test of faith is not in asking, but in trusting after you ask. Anyone can pray, anyone can hope, but how many can release it and walk away in peace? How many can truly believe without the need to see? This is where true power lies. The moment you release worry, the moment you let go of fear, the moment you stop trying to control every outcome, heaven moves on your behalf. Your job was never to figure it out. Your job was never to make it happen. Your job was to believe, to hold on to the promise, to stand unwavering in trust. Many are trapped in cycles of anxiety because they pray but do not rest. They ask but continue to fear. They seek but do not expect. But when you have faith, real faith, you can sleep in the middle of the storm. You can be at peace when nothing makes sense. You can walk boldly even when the path is unclear, because you know. You know that God has already made a way. You know that even when everything appears stagnant, divine movement is happening behind the scenes. You know that what was spoken over your life will come to pass. And that knowing is the key. Faith is not hoping that something will happen. It is knowing that it already has. It is walking with the confidence that what you seek is already yours, that what you have prayed for is already done, that what you have released to God is now in His hands, and He will bring it to pass in the most perfect way, at the most perfect time. There is no more need for worry, no more need for stress, no more need to question. You do not need to keep checking, keep doubting, keep asking if it will happen. It is already done. The moment you gave it to God, the answer was set in motion. The human mind will always want to intervene. It will always want to analyze, to solve, to take control. But this is where faith overrides logic. This is where you must resist the urge to take back what you have already placed in divine hands. Because the moment you interfere, the moment you doubt, you create resistance. But when you leave it in God's hands, without hesitation, without anxiety, without second guessing, you open the floodgates of divine manifestation. There is no need to struggle anymore. No need to battle in your own strength. No need to figure it all out. Give it to God. Release it completely. Let go of the need to understand, the need to control, the need to see immediate results. Because the moment you do, you will witness the impossible become possible. You will see doors open that no man can shut. You will experience breakthroughs that defy human logic. you will know without a doubt that the secret was never in striving but in surrender. The secret was never in worry but in trust. The secret was never in forcing but in believing. And when you truly give it to God, when you finally let go, you will see the power of faith in action, and nothing will ever be the same again. When you finally surrender, when you truly let go and trust, you will see that everything was always working in your favor. The battles you thought you had to fight were already won. The doors you struggled to open were already unlocked. The blessings you chased were already prepared for you. It was never about effort. It was about alignment. It was about stepping into the flow of divine power, where all things are made possible. So release the weight, let go of the fear, silence the doubt, stop trying to control what was never yours to control. God has already made a way, He has already answered, He has already done the impossible. Your only task is to believe, to trust, and to walk forward with unwavering faith. Because the moment you do, you will witness miracles beyond your imagination, and you will know that giving it to God was the best decision you ever made.
I ask you to open your minds and hearts to the wisdom that has been known to the great mystics and sages throughout the ages. For in this wisdom lies the power to reshape your reality, to mold your world according to your will, and to become the master of your own destiny. Let us begin by understanding the true nature of reality. The world you see around you, with all its myriad forms and experiences, is but a reflection of your own consciousness. It is a mirror that faithfully reproduces the contents of your mind, your beliefs, and your assumptions. This is the first great truth you must grasp. Your outer world is a perfect reflection of your inner world. Now, armed with this knowledge, we can begin to see the profound importance of focusing on yourself. For if the world is but a reflection of your consciousness, then it stands to reason that to change the world, you must first change yourself. This is not a selfish act, as some might believe, but rather the most selfless and powerful thing you can do. By focusing on yourself, by cultivating your own garden, you are in fact tending to the very source of all creation. But what does it mean to focus on yourself? It is not, as some might think, a matter of endless self-analysis or constant introspection. No, to truly focus on yourself is to turn your attention inward to the divine presence that resides within you. It is to recognize and claim your true identity as a created being, made in the image and likeness of God. This brings us to the second part of our theme, stay silent. Silence, my dear friends, is not merely the absence of noise. It is the rich, fertile soil from which all creation springs. In the silence of your own being, you will find the wellspring of infinite possibility, the canvas upon which you can paint the masterpiece of your life. To stay silent is to cultivate a state of mind that is receptive to the whispers of your own divine nature. It is in this silence that you can hear the still, small voice of your own intuition, guiding you towards your highest good. It is in this silence that you can feel the stirrings of your own creative power, waiting to be unleashed upon the world. But let us delve deeper into this concept of silence, for it holds within it a power that few truly understand. When I speak of silence, I am not referring merely to the absence of external noise, though that can certainly be beneficial. No, the silence I speak of is an inner quietude, a stilling of the endless chatter of the mind that so often drowns out the voice of our true self. This inner silence is the doorway to the infinite. It is the state in which you can truly commune with the God within you, the state in which you can access the limitless wisdom and power that is your birthright. In this silence, you will find that you are not separate from the source of all creation, but are in fact one with it. Now you might ask, how can I cultivate this inner silence in a world that is constantly demanding my attention, constantly pulling me in 1,000 different directions? The answer, my friends, is simple, though not always easy. You must make a conscious decision to turn your attention away from the external world and focus it inward. This does not mean that you must retreat from the world or neglect your responsibilities. Far from it. Instead, it means that you must learn to live in the world while maintaining an inner stillness and inner focus. It means that you must learn to act from a place of inner peace and clarity, rather than reacting to the constant stimuli of the outer world. As you begin to practice this inner focus and silence, you will notice a remarkable change taking place in your life. The chaos and confusion of the outer world will begin to fade away, replaced by a sense of order and purpose. You will find that you are no longer buffeted about by the winds of circumstance, but are instead moving through life with a sense of direction and intention. This is because as you focus on yourself and maintain inner silence, you are aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. You are tapping into the same force that creates worlds, that sets the stars in motion, that breathes life into all things. And as you align yourself with this power, you will find that your life begins to unfold with a grace and ease that you never thought possible. But let me be clear, this is not a passive process. To focus on yourself and stay silent requires great discipline and dedication. It requires that you consistently turn your attention away from the distractions of the outer world and focus it on the truth of your being. It requires that you cultivate a state of inner stillness, even in the midst of outer turmoil. This practice of inner focus and silence is, in essence, the art of living from the inside out. It is the recognition that all power, all wisdom, all love resides within you. And it is the conscious decision to live from that place of inner power, rather than being swayed by external circumstances. As you commit to this practice, you will begin to see miraculous changes in your life. You will find that the things you once struggled for begin to come to you effortlessly. You will discover that the problems that once seemed insurmountable begin to dissolve of their own accord. You will experience a sense of peace and joy that is not dependent on external circumstances, but wells up from within you. This is because, as you focus on yourself and stay silent, you are aligning yourself with the natural laws of the universe. You are no longer working against the current of life, but are instead flowing with it. You are no longer trying to force things to happen through sheer willpower, but are instead allowing them to unfold naturally as a result of your inner state of being. Now, some of you might be thinking, but isn't this selfish? Shouldn't we be focusing on helping others, on making the world a better place? And to this I say, there is no greater service you can render to the world than to realize your own divine nature. For as you do so, you become a living example of what is possible. You become a light in the darkness, inspiring others to claim their own divine heritage. Moreover, as you focus on yourself and cultivate inner silence, you will find that your actions in the world become more effective, more powerful. You will no longer be acting from a place of lack or fear, but from a place of abundance and love. And actions that spring from this place have the power to truly transform the world. Let us now consider the practical application of this wisdom in your daily life. How can you begin to focus on yourself and stay silent in a world that seems designed to distract and fragment your attention? The answer lies in developing a consistent practice of inner communion. This practice can take many forms, but at its core, it involves setting aside time each day to turn your attention inward, to commune with the God within you. This might involve meditation, prayer, or simply sitting in quiet contemplation. The form is not as important as the intention and the consistency. As you engage in this practice, you will begin to notice subtle changes in your perception. The world around you will seem to take on a new quality, a new depth. You will begin to see beyond the surface appearances of things to the underlying reality. You will start to recognize the divine presence in all things, in all people. This shift in perception is the beginning of a profound transformation. For as you begin to see the world through the eyes of your divine self, you will naturally align your thoughts, words, and actions with this higher perspective. You will find yourself making choices that are in harmony with your true nature, choices that lead to greater joy, peace, and fulfillment. But this is only the beginning. As you deepen your practice of inner focus and silence, you will begin to tap into the creative power that is your birthright. You will discover that you have the ability to shape your reality through the power of your imagination and belief. This is where the true magic begins. For as you focus on yourself and stay silent, you create a space in which you can clearly visualize and feel the reality you wish to experience. And as you hold this vision in your mind, imbuing it with the feeling of reality, you set in motion the forces that will bring it into manifestation. This is the true meaning of prayer. It is not a beseeching of an external deity, but a communion with the God within you. It is a recognition of your oneness with the source of all creation and a conscious alignment of your thoughts and feelings with the reality you wish to be in. As you engage in this practice, you will find that the outer circumstances of your life begin to change, often in ways that seem miraculous. Opportunities will arise that perfectly align with your inner vision. People will come into your life who can assist you in realizing your dreams. Obstacles that once seemed insurmountable will dissolve as if they were never there. But remember, the key to this process is to focus on yourself and stay silent. Do not be tempted to share your inner work with others, at least not in the beginning stages. For the world is full of doubters and naysayers who, not understanding the power of this practice, might seek to discourage you. Instead, keep your vision to yourself. Nurture it in the silence of your own being. Let it grow strong and vibrant within you before you expose it to the light of day. For just as a seed needs the darkness of the soil to germinate and grow strong, so too does your vision need the silence and secrecy of your inner world to take root and flourish. As you continue this practice, you will begin to experience a profound shift in your relationship with the world. You will no longer feel at the mercy of external circumstances, but will instead recognize yourself as the author of your own experience. You will no longer seek validation or approval from others, but will instead find an unshakable sense of self-worth arising from within. This is true empowerment. It is the recognition that you are not a victim of circumstance, but the creator of your reality. It is the understanding that the power to change your life does not lie in manipulating external conditions, but in changing your own consciousness. And as you embrace this truth, as you focus on yourself and stay silent, you will find that your life becomes a living testament to the power of this practice. You will become a walking, breathing example of what is possible when one aligns oneself with the creative power of the universe. But let me warn you, this path is not for the faint of heart. It requires courage, commitment, and unwavering faith. For as you begin to focus on yourself and stay silent, you will be confronted with aspects of yourself that you may have long ignored or denied. You will be faced with your own doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs. This is a necessary part of the process. For in order to fully claim your divine nature, you must first confront and transmute those aspects of yourself that are not in alignment with this truth. This is the true meaning of spiritual transformation. It is not about becoming something other than what you are, but about stripping away the false beliefs and limitations that obscure your true nature. As you engage in this inner work, you may find that certain relationships or situations in your life begin to change. This is natural and necessary. For as you align yourself more fully with your true nature, those things that are not in harmony with this new vibration will naturally fall away. Do not resist this process. Instead, trust that everything that is leaving your life is making room for something better, something more aligned with your true self. Remember, the universe abhors a vacuum. As you release what no longer serves you, you create space for new blessings to enter your life. Throughout this process, it is crucial that you maintain your focus on yourself and stay silent. Do not be tempted to explain yourself to others or to justify the changes you are making. Simply allow the results of your inner work to speak for themselves. As you continue on this path, you will begin to experience a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. This is not the fleeting happiness that comes from external achievements or possessions, but a deep, abiding joy that arises from within. It is a joy of being in alignment with your true nature, of living from the inside out. This joy is your birthright. It is the natural state of being for one who has recognized their oneness with the divine. And as you embody this joy, you become a beacon of light in the world, silently inspiring others to claim their own divine heritage. But even as you experience this inner transformation, remember to keep your focus on yourself. Do not be tempted to proselytize or to try to change others. Each person must find their own way to this truth in their own time. Your task is simply to be a living example of what is possible. As you continue to focus on yourself and stay silent, you will find that your intuition becomes sharper, your insights deeper. You will begin to perceive the underlying patterns and connections in life that were previously hidden from view. This is because as you quiet the chatter of your mind, you create space for your higher self to communicate with you. This heightened intuition will guide you unerringly towards your highest good. You will find yourself making decisions with ease and confidence, knowing that you are being guided by a wisdom far greater than your logical mind. But remember, this intuition speaks in whispers, not shouts. It requires the silence and inner focus that we have been discussing to be heard clearly. This is why it is so crucial to maintain your practice of inner communion, even as your outer life begins to transform. As you deepen your practice, you will begin to experience moments of profound clarity and insight. These are moments when the veil between the seen and unseen worlds becomes thin, when you perceive directly the underlying unity of all things. These experiences, though often fleeting at first, will become more frequent and sustained as you continue to focus on yourself and stay silent. These moments of clarity are not the goal of your practice, but rather signposts along the way, confirmations that you are on the right path. The true goal is the continuous moment-to-moment awareness of your divine nature, the constant recognition of your oneness with all of life. As you progress on this path, you will find that your very presence begins to have a transformative effect on those around you. Without saying a word, without trying to change anyone, you will find that people are drawn to you, sensing the peace and power that emanates from you. This is the true meaning of being a light in the world. It is not about preaching or proselytizing, but about embodying the truth of your being so fully that others are not naturally inspired to seek that truth for themselves. But even as you begin to experience these profound changes, remember to keep your focus on yourself. Do not become attached to the results of your practice or to the reactions of others. Simply continue to nurture your inner silence, to commune with the God within you. As you do so, you will find that your life begins to take on a quality of effortless grace. Things that once required great struggle will begin to happen naturally and easily. This is because you are no longer working against the current of life, but are instead allowing yourself to be carried by it. This state of effortless accomplishment is your natural birthright. It is the way life is meant to be lived, but it can only be experienced when you are in alignment with your true nature, when you are focused on yourself and maintaining inner silence. As you continue on this path, you will begin to understand the true meaning of abundance. You will realize that abundance is not about accumulating possessions or achievements, but about recognizing the infinite richness of your own being. You will discover that everything you could ever need or want already exists within you. waiting to be recognized and expressed. This realization will free you from the endless striving and seeking that characterizes so much of human existence. You will no longer feel the need to prove yourself or to compete with others. Instead, you will rest in the certainty of your own divine nature, knowing that you are already complete and whole. But even as you experience this inner abundance, remember to keep your focus on yourself and stay silent. Do not be tempted to boast about your realizations or to compare yourself to others. Simply allow the abundance of your being to express itself naturally in your life. As you deepen your practice of inner focus and silence, you will begin to perceive the underlying unity of all things. You will realize that the separation you once perceived between yourself and the world, between yourself and others, was an illusion created by your limited perception. This realization of unity is not merely an intellectual understanding, but a direct, experiential knowing. It is a profound shift in consciousness that transforms your entire relationship with life. You will no longer see yourself as a separate entity struggling against the world, but as an integral part of the cosmic dance of creation. This shift in perception will naturally lead to a greater sense of compassion and love for all beings. For when you recognize that all is one, how can you not love all as yourself? This love arising from the depths of your being will inform all your actions and interactions, making your life a blessing to all you encounter. But even as you experience this expanding love and compassion, remember to keep your focus on yourself and stay silent. Do not try to force this love on others or to make them understand your realizations. Simply allow this love to flow through you, touching all in its path. As you continue on this path of inner focus and silence, you will begin to understand the true nature of time. You will realize that the past and future exist only in your mind, and that the present moment is the only point of power. This realization will free you from regret about the past and anxiety about the future, allowing you to live fully in the eternal now. In this state of present moment awareness, you will find that time seems to expand. You will be able to accomplish more while doing less, because you are no longer wasting energy on useless mental chatter or emotional turmoil. You will move through life with a sense of unhurried ease, knowing that everything is unfolding perfectly in its own time. But even as you deepen your practice of focusing on yourself and staying silent, you will come to understand the true nature of power. You will realize that true power does not come from controlling others or manipulating external circumstances, but from mastering your own consciousness. This inner mastery will allow you to move through life with grace and authority, effortlessly manifesting your desires and inspiring others through your example. Remember, the journey of self-realization is ongoing. Even as you experience profound shifts in consciousness and miraculous changes in your outer life, continue to focus on yourself and maintain inner silence. Do not become complacent or think that you have arrived at some final destination. Instead, remain open to ever-deepening levels of awareness and understanding. As you progress on this path, you may be called to share your wisdom with others. If this occurs, do so with humility and discretion. Speak only to those who are ready to hear. And even then, let your life be your primary teaching. Remember that the most profound truths cannot be conveyed through words alone, but must be experienced directly. In conclusion, my dear friends, I urge you to take this message to heart. Focus on yourself and stay silent. In this simple practice lies the key to unlocking your infinite potential, to realizing your divine nature, and to creating a life of joy, abundance, and fulfillment. Trust in the process, have faith in your own divine nature, and know that as you transform yourself, you transform the world. Go forth now, not in search of some external salvation, but in recognition of the God within you. Let your life become a living testament to the power of this practice. And in the silence of your own being, may you discover the infinite treasure that has always been yours.